Hi everyone, I'm Mary with Mary Greeley News. Thank you for joining me. Here's an image of static cam pictures taken of Old Faithful yesterday. It's different eruptions that were going off. Yeah, it's still not going off as it's supposed to, about every 90 to 94 minutes. Still going off about every 2 hours. My last video, there was some problem with the volume of the mic. So hopefully we'll have that straightened out today. The live web camera on nationalpark.gov or nps.gov still isn't working. The tilt meter for Norris Junction, this comes from a borehole the last 7 days. Lots of dots means lots of shaking. Is it settling down? I don't know. Top is north, bottom is east for the last 7 days, and each dot would be an earthquake. And there's multiple earthquakes that they're not reporting. Here we have for the last 30 days. Last 7 days for Grant. Yeah, I've talked about Grant. Grant is the area where the ground is the weakest, where it's been trying to come up. Kind of like Mount St. Helens when it erupted out of the side, because that was a weaker area. Last 7 days. And then the last 30 days. Each dot would be an earthquake in the last month. The tilt meter comes from a borehole at Yellowstone Lake. This is on the northern edge by Fishing Bridge. Yeah, look at all the shaking that's been going on across the park in the last week. And then we'll come down to the last 30 days. The borehole for Madison River. Now, a borehole is a very deep well dug into the ground. Oh, usually about 500 feet under the ground. This is near Headbend Lake. Last 7 days. Okay, and then the last 30 days. The darker the color, the more recent the earthquakes. And we got one dot way outside of the trend. And the magma, as I said, is flowing under the ground. This V here, they're measuring what the magma is doing under the ground. X is north, Y is east. But if you looked at the ground, if you're standing there, looking out towards the north of the horizon, the ground would look like it's uplifting in the north. And, that would make sense. The hot spot for the caldera there at Yellowstone is slowly moving northeast. You can see that the magma is traveling east. It doesn't want to erupt right now because of the rhyolite cap, which is holding the magma under the surface of the earth. So the magma is still coming up, but it's being forced to move sideways. Another borehole for the Norris Geyser Basin, borehole 205. Last 7 days. And this is the disk. Each dot, once again, is the last 7 days of earthquakes, and then we got the last 30 days. And I've talked about, okay, remember in my last video that I did the day before yesterday? I didn't do one yesterday for Thanksgiving, spent it with my family, and I certainly hope everyone had a very safe and joyous Thanksgiving. But remember how it was traveling east here, and now look at this, where all of a sudden it's popping, in the opposite direction. But in my last video, the data for the last few days had been missing, and now it looks like they got it up and running. Yellowstone is recharging for another eruption. All the trees that you see across the park grew up during what was called a quiet period. Now that they got the gases rising up from the ground, it's slowly killing off the trees in the park. Yeah, look how dirty that is. It's dirty because as the ground heats up, the rock in the soil is being melted and being pushed up with the rising steam. Yeah, this is all new stuff that's been happening, an increase in activity that started since I've been watching the park. Those of you that have been watching my videos over the years also too will notice the increase in activity there at Yellowstone. So here is today, going back about a day and a half, the different earthquakes and the spectrogram of those earthquakes. Here we got an earthquake at 6:17, which was fairly significant. That was a magnitude 3.5 near Stanley, Idaho, which was along the Sawtooth mountain range. 5 people supposedly reported feeling it. Probably more than that, but USGS doesn't post all the felt reports. Those felt reports came from Boise, Idaho. And this is the effect that it had there at Yellowstone Supervolcano. So over here on the left, we have Moose Creek, Idaho. This is the effect that earthquake had there at Yellowstone Supervolcano. The center is Maple Creek. And the one on the right is Mary Lake. Mary Lake is near the Sour Creek Resurgent Dome. Whereas the Mallard Lake Resurgent Dome is what you see, the hill behind the Old Faithful live web camera. Yellowstone Supervolcano, yeah, it's a very large supervolcano. It has 2 resurgent domes. Most volcanoes only have 1, but because of the size of Yellowstone, it's got 2 resurgent domes. This here being the Mallard Lake Resurgent Dome. Using Google Earth, this yellow line is the uplift that has been occurring between the Mallard Lake Resurgent Dome on the left and the Sour Creek Resurgent Dome on the right. Mary Lake is right along this yellow line. The circle in yellow is the area that, according to the University of Utah geologist Robert Smith, or Bob Smith, expects the next eruption to occur at. It would be as large as the eruption, according to Bob Smith, as what Mount St. Helens eruption. The damage and the deaths that it called, actually the deaths at Yellowstone would be much greater. But the eruption size would be the same as Mount St. Helens, if not larger. It would not be a smaller eruption than St. Helens. It would be that big or larger. Now, during the last major eruption of Yellowstone, and Yellowstone has had 40 smaller eruptions since the last major eruption 163,000 years ago. That eruption did a counterclockwise unzipping of the caldera, starting at the Madison River area near Heben Lake, which is up over here. And it did an unzipping. There's the Madison River. It did an unzipping going counterclockwise. Now, when it reached down by Heart Lake, the unzipping, both of the resurgent domes, the Sour Creek Resurgent Dome and the Mallard Lake Resurgent Dome, both collapsed at the same time, thus creating the super eruption 163,000 years ago. Many of the earthquakes are not being reported. Here we have Mary Lake at the bottom. We got magma on the move, and they call this blobs of magma. That's the actual scientific definition of magma. We got harmonic tremors or volcanic tremors that's occurring there at Mary Lake. Up over here is that blob of magma that came in at Maple Creek, and I'll extract that. See how it got larger and larger and suddenly stopped? Yeah, a bit odd. And I'll go back another 4 hours to show you these earthquakes. And it was quiet for about 4 hours. We just got some small stuff here. And then we'll come back again and I'll show you. This is that 3.5. Let me pull it over for you. There's a small one over here on the right. And let me pull this over. You can see there's multiple earthquakes. We got one right here, another one right there, and another one right there. And they show up on all 3 monitors, meaning it was definitely an earthquake. But they are not being reported. I'll extract this 3.5 for you so you can see its signature. See this first smaller wave of the earthquake? That's what's called the P wave of the earthquake. That is the sound of the earthquake as it comes before the S wave, which is second, which is the shaking. See the gap? That's how we know it was not at Yellowstone Lake, but in fact at Sawtooth Mountain Range. Using Google Earth, here's the location of that earthquake. And not far from where they had a 6.5. That was in March 31st of this year. All right, let me pull it out and I'll show you. This red line is the fault line for the Sawtooth Mountains. And it was really north, on the northern top edge of the Sawtooth. Let me bring this down. And I'll bring it down. The reason the Snake River Plateau area, if you looked at it from satellite, is so smooth on both sides of the Snake River Plateau is because these mountain ranges have been blown out as the caldera slowly moved northeast. See how there's no mountains? Yeah, they were literally blown out. According to USGS, there's only been 28 earthquakes on this map in the last week. Most recent was a 1.1. Same place, Sawtooth Mountains, a 0.8. That was down by, let's get the coordinates of that. Heart Lake. Remember, there's significance there. When the last major eruption started to unzip, the counterclockwise unzipping. The earthquakes and the magma that broke through came up in this area before the two resurgent domes collapsed together. Yesterday, being Thanksgiving holiday, there was no earthquakes reported. That 0.8 was on the 25th. They just close up shop when there's a weekend. Once in a great while, there is someone that works at USGS that does report the smaller earthquakes, but they must have been off for yesterday. That was the 25th, and you notice all these other ones were on the 25th when they had that earthquake swarm that was going on. Let's go down here. We had a 2.1. What else? Go down, and see, then we got the 24th. But you will notice all these multiple earthquakes with the P waves that were not reported. This one here doesn't have a P wave, but it's only a really small dot at Moose Creek, Idaho. Let me go back another 4 hours, show you the activity. Now again, this is today, and this here is at 3.5. We'll go back another 4 hours. We got another one there that's not being reported. Got it on 3 different monitors. Mary Lake, magma on the move. Harmonic tremors. Let me pull that one. See exactly what time that was. At 4:50, that was today, universal time. See how it's got the P wave and then the S wave second, which is larger. All right, we'll go back another 4 hours. And we got another one over here. Let me pull it over here. Oh, actually 2 more. We got that one. And then we got that one. Let's look at that one. That one happened at Yellowstone Lake. There is no P wave on it. And we'll go back another 4 hours. Oops, let me check the date on that one again. Let me pull this up. That would have been late last night, universal time. November 26th at 23:54. Not being reported. People ask, why do they not report the earthquakes? Well, they don't want to report them because they don't want panic. It would affect the stock market, property prices, etc. We got another one there. You can see it there at 2 different monitors. I just extract that. There it is. And we'll go back another 4 hours. Got another one there. See that? And we'll go back another 4 hours. And this is Thursday. Yesterday. We got a small one. Let me pull it over. A small one over here that's not being reported. That one looks like it's at Yellowstone Lake. Let's see. Yep, no P wave on it. And it's also, let me close this. It's also showing up down, let me get this, showing up down here at Moose Creek, Idaho. And there was another one afterwards, it looks like. Going back another 4 hours, let's check out the time for this one. The 26th at 7:02. Not being reported. And there's something weird going on. We only got here the 26th. Nothing for today. They took that 3.5 off. Let me refresh this. And, yeah, why is that 3.5 taken away? Let's go to 1 day all magnitudes. Huh, that is very strange. Why did they take the 3.5 off? Go back to 7 days. All right, 27, 3.5. Let me refresh this one. Why did they delete it? That's a moderate size earthquake. Nothing really super big, but why is it taken off? Was it significant enough that they don't want people to know? If they came in later to look at, these earthquakes. Let me pull this over. 7 days, you can see it there, all earthquakes. 1 day, and that's a 1.1. I'll pull this over. And I'll move it back to 7 days, all magnitude. Yeah, still not on there. All right, let's jump around and look at some of these earthquakes. We got 438. 438. It has a P wave on it. Let's see here. Right there. I'll show you the signature. All right, let's pull this over. Might be a little bit better on, yeah, see. This is the S wave. All right, so this is the P wave. And then the second one that came in is the S wave. Let's go to this one. All right. See that? Okay, if I can get it lined up. And we'll go there. See, 2 signatures. At 4:38 in that time frame. All right, another one not being reported at 1:48 Universal Time. Let's go over here to this one. There's its signature. And there's the other one. Look at the spectrogram. There we go. So we got this marked in red. Over here on Maple Creek, we got another one right here marked in red. I don't see it on the other monitors. Let's see here. Right in there somewhere. 637. Pull it over a little bit. Okay. Oops. Went off the line. Just got some hot gases here at Mary Lake, Moose Creek, Idaho, and Maple Creek. This being the center is Maple Creek. On the left is Moose Creek, Idaho. All right, let me pull this up so we can see the other things that I pulled this morning. All right, we got another one in red. All right, which is at 651. 651. 651. That would have been yesterday, and that one's not being reported. And they know it happened. Let's look at the signature. Okay, I don't see a P wave on it. Let me see. Let me pull it over. Oh, yeah. Well, very small. Yeah, very small P wave for Maple Creek. Moose Creek, Idaho doesn't have a P wave. And then Mary Lake. Let's pull this over. Not really much of a P wave. Okay. Here we got blobs of magma moving at Moose Creek, Idaho. And I've talked about the blobs of magma at Mary Lake. We got several other small earthquakes marked in red here at Maple Creek. We got that one. Let me close this so I can get the other one. That one. Okay, there's that one. And then that one. Yep. Maple Creek is acting up. And let me pull this up some more. Okay, there's the hot gases that came up at Moose Creek, Idaho. Maple Creek. Let me find it on this one here. Hold on. And at Mary Lake, you can just see the hot gases that came up. Most effect, it looks like, was at Maple Creek. Alright, so we got this one here at 2104 yesterday. That was late. And we'll go here. And I'll show you the signature. Better signature at Maple Creek, it looks like. And Mary Lake, yeah, harmonic tremors. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, okay, let's look at the beginning of this, because let me get it on there. Yeah, look at that. And we'll go to this one. Yep. Very small earthquake, but it was significant enough to bring up the magma across the park all the way to the Sour Creek Resurgent Dome, from Mallard Lake Resurgent Dome all the way over to Mary Lake Resurgent Dome. We definitely got magma flowing across the system. Okay, I noticed this here. We got, oh, there's my doorbell. Hold on. Anyways, yeah, my daughter just showed up. She got off work early. Yeah, she had to work today. Yeah, my son had to work today too. But he got off early too, and he picked up my other grandson. Yeah, things are not normal at Yellowstone. We are definitely gearing up for another eruption. Who knows when it will happen? Only God knows, right? And when they're downplaying this increase in activity, yeah, they just don't want people to panic. They don't want people to prepare. The government has no basic plans. The elite have already made arrangements to move out of the country. I know one of the countries is Africa, and there was another country they contacted to move to after the eruption of Yellowstone. They told them, "I'm sorry, we don't want you." Yeah, I don't blame them. But they're making arrangements for themselves and everybody else. Yeah, it's man, woman, and child. You're on your own. But we know that we do stick together and we do help others. We already have our masks for the ash, the fallout. But there will not be food growing for many, many years. The earth would go into a global cooling. Yeah, probably millions of people would probably starve because the United States is the breadbasket of the world, sending our food around the world. And the United Nations already announced just this last month that they're expecting major food shortages coming in the next couple months. And that's just because of the lack of people working because of the COVID. So can you imagine what's going to happen when Yellowstone finally has enough pressure to blow? And yeah, we all need to be prepared on our own. Like I said, if you expect the government to come in and open up the FEMA camps and feed you, yeah, good luck with that. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I hope this recording came out okay. I have had a problem with hackers. Too much truth. I am on Twitter. I post a lot of things on Twitter that YouTube would not allow me to post. Too controversial. Too much truth on YouTube. And please stay safe. I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.